All right, so I needed to get some rocks out of a new area. And if it's really rocky, just before we begin, sometimes I'll get the rotary plow in there or the tiller just to loosen up those rocks before we make a permanent bed. And so I brought it out there, and the first thing that happened was the bolt broke, right? Sheared off. And then right after that, right, we got a nice flat. Look at that. Now, the BCS can be a really great thing, but I can tell you the tilther never did that. It always works. So now I'm sitting here waiting for a new bolt, waiting here for a new inner tobe, and then I'm gonna spend, a morning getting this stuff in and fixed and going. And the great thing about a two-wheel tractor is, for me, it was confidence. It gives you this incredible amount of horsepower, to just go in there and do work. And it feels like you have to do a lot less work because it's doing work. I found out over time, though, that once we moved to no-till, that was, a bit of that is just confidence without a lot of reality because of the extra work that it does ask of you. That it's not sometimes the easiest thing to move around. You have to fix it. You have to maintain it. You have to put oil in it. It does cost money for gas. It's, especially if your farm's a little spread out, just getting this thing each place takes time. I've got to move it and, move it from, one side of the farm to the other. And by the time I'm there, I'm just better off just forking it and tilting it. So we just, definitely moved to the tilther, which is very easy to move around. We just put it on our shoulder and walk with it. And even my 4-year-old can just, hold on to it as I walk. I'm not suggesting use it with 4-year-olds, but I do. And because it's just a drill, a very simple device, cheap. You can probably just run it off of solar panels to charge it. No need for gas. And they really don't break down. And when they do, they're pretty easy to fix. And unlike the two-wheel tractor, I don't think I would want to keep 2 of these around. It sounds like 2 headaches. But I can keep multiple of these around because they're so cheap. So while the BCS certainly has its benefits, it's great, especially if you're getting into larger scale and you start thinking about maybe a rotary plow, if you're thinking about a power harrow to do your tilthing, which is like a really big version of a tilther, then I think it really starts to make sense at that point. And, I wouldn't try to convince you otherwise. Just for my scale, my size, growing year round, keeping things consistent both inside in the middle of winter and keeping it consistent with what I do outside, just my tool of choice.